Welcome to Soul Spirit Stories, where real emotions meet powerful lessons. Subscribe, sit back and open your heart, because today's story will move you to tears. It was a chilly morning when the sound of sirens echoed across the city. Inside St. Mary's Hospital, doctors rushed in and out of the emergency room. Nurses called out patient numbers, and the smell of antiseptic filled the air. Amid all the chaos, a little girl named Emma sat alone on one of the cold benches, hugging a worn-out teddy bear to her chest. Her small face was red from crying. Her mother, Lily, had just been rushed into the ER after collapsing at home, and her father, the powerful CEO of a billion-dollar company, wasn't there yet. The janitor, Mr. Harris, a gentle old man in his late 60s, was sweeping the hallway when he noticed Emma sitting by herself, trembling. He quietly walked up and knelt beside her. "Hey there, sweetheart," he said softly. "Why the tears?" Emma sniffled, wiping her face with the back of her hand. "Mommy's not moving. She just fell down while making breakfast." Mr. Harris's eyes softened. He put a comforting hand on her shoulder. "She's in good hands now, dear. The doctors here are the best." Emma looked up, her innocent voice trembling. "Do you think she'll wake up soon?" Before he could answer, the automatic doors to the ER burst open. A tall man in a sharp black suit walked in, his eyes cold, his expression unreadable. Everyone recognized him instantly. Daniel Pierce, the CEO of Pierce Industries, the kind of man whose signature could change lives. But right now his own life was falling apart. "Where is my wife?" he demanded, his voice booming through the corridor. The nurse at the counter hesitated. "Sir, she's still in emergency care. The doctors are—" "I don't want excuses," Daniel snapped. "Get the lead doctor out here now." Emma stood up the moment she saw him. "Daddy!" she cried, running toward him, but Daniel barely noticed. He was too lost in his fury and fear. It was Mr. Harris who caught Emma before she stumbled. He gently picked her up and said, "Careful, sweetheart." Daniel turned at the sound of the janitor's voice and glared. "Who are you, and why are you holding my daughter?" His tone was sharp, full of suspicion. Mr. Harris quickly set Emma down. "I'm sorry, sir. I just saw she was alone. I didn't mean any harm." Daniel brushed past him and crouched down to face his daughter. "Emma, are you okay? Did they hurt you?" She shook her head. "No, Daddy, he helped me. Mommy fell and he stayed with me." For a moment, Daniel's hard expression softened. But only for a moment. He stood up and turned cold again. "Thank you, janitor. But you can go back to your work now." Mr. Harris nodded quietly and walked away, returning to his mop and bucket, but his eyes lingered with concern. Hours passed. Doctors came out with updates. Lily had suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. They managed to stabilize her, but she was in a coma. The room fell silent when the doctor said the word coma. Daniel froze. His mind went blank. His wife, the woman he had built his empire beside, was now lying unconscious, unable to speak, unable to hear him. He walked into her room. Machines beeped softly beside her bed. Her pale hand lay motionless on the white sheet. Emma stood beside him, gripping his sleeve tightly. "Mommy looks like she's sleeping," Emma whispered. "Can we wake her up?" Daniel swallowed hard. "Not right now, sweetheart." He turned his face away, hiding the tear that escaped his eye. Days turned into weeks. Daniel threw himself into work, spending less time at the hospital. He hired private nurses, top specialists and therapists. He paid for the best equipment, but Emma spent most of her time at the hospital, talking to her mom, drawing pictures, and sometimes talking to Mr. Harris, the janitor. Mr. Harris became her friend. He told her stories about stars, about angels, watching over good people, and sometimes brought her candy from the vending machine. One afternoon, Emma ran down the hall, her little shoes tapping the floor. She was laughing as Mr. Harris showed her how to fold paper flowers. That's when Daniel arrived unannounced. He frowned when he saw his daughter with the janitor. "Emma!" he called sharply. "Come here." Emma hesitated, looking from Mr. Harris to her father. "But Daddy, we were—" "Now!" Daniel's voice was stern. Emma slowly walked over. Daniel glared at Mr. Harris. "What do you think you're doing? You're a janitor, not her babysitter." Mr. Harris straightened. "I wasn't babysitting her, sir. Just keeping her company. She gets lonely. I pay for nurses and staff to do that," Daniel snapped. "Stay in your lane." Mr. Harris didn't argue. He simply nodded. "Of course, sir." Emma tugged at her father's hand. "Daddy, don't be mad. Mr. Harris tells nice stories. Mommy likes him too." Daniel ignored her, his pride too strong. He took Emma's hand and walked away. That night, as Daniel sat alone in his penthouse, staring at the city lights, his phone buzzed. It was the hospital. "Mr. Pierce, there's been a change in your wife's condition. You should come." He rushed back, heart pounding. When he arrived, he found the doctor surrounding Lily's bed. The monitor beeped erratically. Daniel's heart broke as he watched her slipping away. "Lily!" he shouted, gripping her hand. "Please, please don't leave me." Emma stood at the doorway, tears streaming down her face. "Mommy." Mr. Harris saw her from the hallway and came running. He gently wrapped his arms around her as she sobbed. "Shh. It's okay, sweetheart. She can hear you. Tell her you love her." Emma cried louder. "I love you, Mommy." "Please don't go." Then suddenly, the flatline tone filled the room. The doctors tried everything, but Lily was gone. Daniel stood frozen. The strong, unbreakable CEO fell to his knees beside the bed. He sobbed, clutching his wife's lifeless hand. "I had everything, except time with you." Emma broke free from Mr. Harris's arms and ran to her father. "Daddy, why isn't Mommy moving?" "Wake her up." Daniel pulled her into his arms and cried. She's sleeping, baby." A very long sleep. For weeks, Daniel barely spoke. The house felt empty. Emma stopped smiling. Her drawings of hearts and stars turned into pictures of clouds and angels. One day, while walking through the hospital to collect Lily's belongings, Daniel saw Mr. Harris again, cleaning the same hallway. He stopped. "Hey, janitor!" Mr. Harris looked up. "Yes, sir?" Daniel hesitated. His voice softened. "I wanted to apologize for the way I spoke before." Mr. Harris nodded kindly. "You were going through pain." "I understand." Daniel looked down. "My wife used to say kindness doesn't need a title." "I forgot that." Mr. Harris smiled sadly. "She was right." Then he added quietly, "You know, your wife wasn't alone that night. Emma was asleep and you were stuck in traffic. But I was there. She held my hand before she closed her eyes." Daniel's eyes widened. You were with her?" "Yes," Mr. Harris said. "She told me to tell you something." She said, "Tell Daniel not to be angry anymore. Tell him to love Emma enough for both of us." Then she smiled and went peacefully. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. Tears fell freely now. He whispered, "Thank you for being there when I wasn't." Mr. Harris nodded, emotion filling his eyes. "She was a wonderful woman. You still have a piece of her with Emma." From that day forward, Daniel changed. He started spending more time with Emma, taking her to the park, reading her bedtime stories, and even visiting the hospital together to thank the staff. And sometimes they would stop by to see Mr. Harris. One afternoon, Daniel found Emma sitting with the old janitor again, drawing on the hospital floor with colored chalk. They had drawn a giant heart with angel wings. "Look, Daddy," Emma said proudly. "It's Mommy's heart. She's flying." Daniel knelt beside her, his voice trembling. "Yes, sweetheart. She's watching over us," Mr. Harris smiled. "And she's proud of both of you." Months passed. Daniel began funding a new hospital wing in Lily's memory, the Lily Pierce Care Center. It was designed to support families who couldn't afford medical care. During the ribbon-cutting ceremony, reporters surrounded him, but Daniel's eyes searched the crowd until they found Mr. Harris, standing in his janitor's uniform at the back, smiling quietly. Daniel called him forward. "Ladies and gentlemen," Daniel said into the microphone, "this man isn't just a janitor. He's the reason I found my heart again. He showed my daughter kindness when I was too blind to see. This hospital wing is dedicated to my wife's compassion and to the man who reminded me of it." The crowd applauded as Daniel shook Mr. Harris's hand. Emma ran up and hugged him tightly. "Thank you for helping Mommy go to heaven happy," she whispered. Mr. Harris blinked back tears. "You keep shining, little one. That's what your mommy wanted." Years later, Daniel often visited the hospital not as a CEO, but as a volunteer. He and Emma would hand out toys to children and talk to families. Every time he walked past the janitor's old hallway, he smiled. A framed picture of Lily hung on the wall beside a plaque that read, "Kindness doesn't need a title." One evening, as the sun set behind the hospital, Daniel and Emma placed a bouquet of lilies at the plaque. "We miss you, Mommy," Emma whispered. Daniel took her hand. "She never left, sweetheart. She lives right here." He placed her small hand on his chest. "And here." He touched hers. They looked up at the sky, painted in shades of gold and pink. And for a moment, they both swore they saw an angel smiling back, because love never truly dies. It just changes form, becoming the light that guides us through our darkest days. And sometimes, it's carried by the hands of strangers who remind us what humanity truly means. This story reminds us that no matter how powerful we become, no amount of money can replace kindness, time, or love.